guys, the reality of investing in property is that if you're doing just standard vanilla buy-to-lets on ASTs, assured short hold tenancies, you're not going to get rich or make high incomes month to month. I've done other videos breaking down the sorts of incomes you can expect from doing different strategies, but the income from 1 to even 3 buy-to-lets is not going to change your life and make you rich over time. My goal is to make at least £3,000 per month from property, and I say that in the intro to a lot of my videos, but by my maths, in terms of having standard vanilla buy-to-lets, I'll need at least 10, around about 10 standard vanilla buy-to-lets if I'm gonna get to £3,000 per month from property. How long is it gonna take me to save up for 10 buy-to-lets? I'll probably reach that goal by my 90th birthday, not to mention that we're going through a current cost of living crisis. So realistically speaking, that's not a viable strategy to get to a place where I'm earning enough to cover all of my costs per month. So with that being said, how do you make significant amounts of money, life-changing amounts of money that are going to really make a difference to your day-to-day life and your future and your kids' future, etc. So in the videos that I've made, if you follow my channel, watch those, where I've talked about taking out £24,000 from a property in Salford, £18,000 from my property in Sheffield. That has all been via equity, guys. Equity and not monthly rent. Equity is the key word. Home equity, to define it, guys, is the difference between the amount of money that you owe on your mortgage that's outstanding and what the home is actually worth. The difference between that is your equity. It's essentially what you own, what I own in a property. And the amount of equity in a property usually grows over time. One, as you make payments down to reduce the mortgage, but also as the value of the property rises over time. So that happens naturally over the medium to long term, and you can actually supercharge that. You can force appreciation in the value of a home by doing stuff like the BRRR, refurbing it, adding value and that kind of thing, guys. So watch my videos that I've made on how to choose properties in the right areas so that your equity goes over time at a faster rate than normal, okay, than average across the UK, and the types of strategies you can use to drive that and supercharge that. So equity release, guys, is really how you make the big money in property, okay? Rent will cover the day-to-day costs. It will cover your mortgage, your operating costs like your insurance, your repairs and your maintenance, etc., etc. But in terms of generating the generational, okay, the life-changing money that will create generational wealth and will change your life and your family's lives, you know, we're talking about tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of pounds. That is through equity release, guys. It's money that you can use to buy more properties, guys. You can use that money to go traveling, you know, buy a car if you had a dream car, put your kids through uni, bless other people. That's really what I'm doing this for. And that's what I imagine that you guys are doing this for. Let me know in the comments. But it's that equity money, right, that really is going to change our lives. So with that being said, guys, how do you actually practically release, you know, those tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands if you're lucky, of pounds from a property via equity release? How do you do it in practice, okay? Who do you talk to? Who do you need to actually get that done? How long does it take? When can you do it? Okay, let's answer all of these very practically. I'm not going to overcomplicate it. I'm just going to tell you the exact steps. I most recently did it a few months ago with my Sheffield property, and I did it around about 9 months before that with my Manchester property. Yeah, so I've done it a couple of times now, and I've had this question asked of me in terms of how I did it, in terms of the practical steps. So here we are, guys. So let's start with when. When can you release equity from your property? So you can only release equity from your property 2 points, right? First of all, when the property has gone up in value over and above what you originally purchased it for, okay? When it's gone up in value. Secondly, you can only release equity when your mortgage product is up for renewal. Let's talk a bit more about that. So in terms of when your property has gone up in value, this is why you've got to choose good areas to invest in. I've made a bunch of videos on that, so have a look on the channel and look through those just in terms of how I coach you and I give you tips and pointers in how to choose a good area to invest in, because really what that boils down to is tens, thousands of pounds in your pocket over the mid to long term that's going to change your life. So you need to choose a property in a right area, a property in an area that's rising in value, that has investment coming into it, etc., etc. And in terms of knowing, okay, when your property has gone up in value, how do you know when? Okay, what you can do is check comparables, comparable properties sold, I'd say within the last 12 months, okay, on Rightmove sold prices. Type in your postcode of where your property is and have a look at comparable properties. So if you have a 1 bed, look at other 1 beds. If you have a 2 bed, look at other 2 beds. If it's a flat, look at other flats. Don't compare a flat to a 4 bed semi-detached house, okay? So look at comparables for properties that have sold within the last 12 months. It's really helpful just in terms of going through that and easily figuring out getting an idea of what the comparable sold prices are within the last 12 months, okay? And that will give you an idea of what the current value of your property is worth. And secondly, we talked about when your mortgage product is up for renewal. So if you have, say, a fixed rate mortgage, okay, so you might have fixed it for 2 years, 5 years, you're not going to be able to renew before that period is up without paying a chunky fee, okay? So they really want you to stay on that product to the end of your term, and then at the end of your term you'll be allowed to remortgage and release equity for free. So if you have one of those products, if you have a fixed interest rate product, mortgage product, you have to wait till the end of the term. So in summary, you can remortgage even if you do have a fixed term, 2 year, 5 year, whatever term mortgage product, but you're gonna pay thousands of pounds to remortgage early, which kind of defeats the purpose of remortgaging because you want to get as much money as you can out of it. That's why I personally tend to choose mortgage products that have no early repayment fees, so you can remortgage whenever you want. But generally speaking, you pay high fees and a slightly higher interest rate for that freedom and flexibility. So that's the when. In terms of how do you remortgage? So it's really straightforward, guys. I'm going to get onto the who you need to do this. But in terms of the process, what you can see on screen right now is that if you, for example, have a £100,000 property, so you bought it for £100,000, say the deposit that you put down was £75,000. You put in a 25% deposit, so that's £25,000, and your mortgage was £75,000, and it's on an interest only basis. So you're not paying down any of the capital, you're just paying interest for the term and the length of the product, okay? Say 5 years later, that property goes up in value from £100,000 to £130,000. In terms of how you release equity from that property, you're going to go to your lender and you're going to say, hey, look, I am pretty sure that my property has gone up by £30,000 to £130,000. I would like to release some equity. What they're going to do is they're going to send a valuer there, they're going to value it and verify that. And let's say that's all gravy, right? So thumbs up. They're now going to offer you 75%, because that tends to be the percentage on buy-to-let mortgage products, 75% of 130,000, which is £97,500, okay? That's the amount of money that the mortgage lender is willing to lend you. Now remember that we have an existing mortgage on that property of £75,000. So it's really simple maths, guys. The amount of money that you're going to get in your pocket is £97,500 minus £75,000. So you're going to get in your pocket, tax-free, £22,500. That £97,500 pays off your existing mortgage of £75,000 and you keep the difference. Simple as that, guys. If you've got any questions, let me know in the comment section below. Now, who do you need in order to release equity from your property? You're going to need a team, okay? You're going to need a broker, first of all, to find you a lender that's willing to lend at the amount that you want and get you ideally the best interest rate possible on the market that you won't necessarily be able to get yourself going to lenders directly. You're going to need a solicitor to do the conveyancing because you're going to have to go through a legal process again. So you'll need a solicitor to do the conveyancing. And if you're like me, and you're investing in property through a limited company, you're going to need another solicitor to get independent legal advice for the personal guarantee that I have to give on behalf of my limited company. So don't miss that out, guys. If you're investing through a limited company, you're going to need another solicitor for independent legal advice, and you're going to be talking £500 and above for that. They really do make a killing off of that half an hour in the office that they run you through the documentation. So don't forget that, okay? That's a team that you're gonna need. You're gonna need your broker, you're gonna need a solicitor to do the conveyancing, and if you're investing through a limited company, you're going to need a solicitor to give you independent legal advice for the personal guarantee. So for me personally, brokers are, for me, the most important part of that team that I just mentioned. Why is that? Because as I said, they're going to find you the product that you need that's based on your personal circumstances, and they get you the best rates, right? A good broker, guys, and I've said this before, I'm going to say it again, and I'll always say it, is worth their weight in gold. And then lastly, how long does it take? I personally would start looking around about 2 months before you actually want the money to land in your account. So if you have a mortgage product that say expires in December, start looking around about October. Start going to Unbiased, looking for the right mortgage broker, start looking for your solicitors, your conveyancers, and start the process, because it takes about 2 months end to end for the mortgage to be approved, underwritten and offered, and it takes a good 2 months or so for the legal work to complete, right? And I think that's a good amount of time to leave just in terms of how long to do it. So guys, that is the when, the how, the who, and how long when it comes to releasing equity from your property and getting those sums out of a property that you've invested in that are really going to change your life and change your future, change the future of your kids and those around you. So guys, thank you for watching. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, send it to somebody that you think would benefit from it, because that's how this channel grows. Thanks as always for supporting, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching. This year I'm making a video every month to answer any questions that you have for me. So whether you want to know whether you should invest in a limited company or in your own name, whether you should buy a flat or a house, what is the best way to get started in property, or who my barber is, just let me know. You can ask me in the comment section below, on Instagram, on TikTok, and I'll make a video dedicated to your questions. Like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.